You stay away from Mowgli, you mean old tiger, or I'll toss some fire to your tail and burn your butt!
Now hold it. Hold your horses before you start typing in the comments. Yes, I'm well aware that I'm technically cheating with this one. The Jungle Book 2 is technically not a direct-to-video Disney sequel. The Jungle Book 2 actually saw a theatrical release at the very last possible minute. I guess the higher-ups at the time saw this and just really liked it for some reason, so they decided, you know what? Screw it! Give them a couple extra $1 million and let's put this bitch in theaters.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, it turns out nothing did go wrong, at least financially. The movie actually made a pretty good amount of money. But that Rotten Tomatoes score though, yikes. This inferior rehash of the Jungle Book should have gone straight to video. Damn. So yeah, I guess spiritually this still counts as a direct-to-video sequel, even if it technically isn't a direct-to-video Disney sequel, so screw it, I'm making an exception in this case. Speaking of which, did you guys know that they were actually planning on making a third Jungle Book movie? Yeah! Listen to the synopsis of it. It would have been about Baloo and Shere Khan being captured and sold off to a Russian circus, and Mowgli, Shanti, Rajan, and Bagheera deciding to save them both. Over the course of the film, Shere Khan regrets his hatred against humanity after the events of the previous two films because of his capture, and eventually reforms after Mowgli and his friends rescued them. Unfortunately, the project never materialized. Unfortunately? More like God decided to be merciful for once, because that sounds fucking awful. They really wanted to take the best part of these movies and actually ruin it. Are you fucking kidding me? God, if anything, I guess that means that the sequel isn't as bad as it could have been. So, take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I think Rotten Tomatoes is perfectly on the money with this one. And with so much money that was made, there's no shortage of being right here. This movie, for about 80% of it, is just a soulless rehash of the original. Now, I've seen the original movie, and I love it. Sure, it takes a lot of, liberties from the original book, but it's Disney. You kind of expect that at this point. But with its great characters, charming story, and memorable songs, how can you not have a good time anyway watching the original? Along with that, and I know this may sound a little weird, but I don't think the idea of a sequel for this movie is that bad of an idea. Let me explain myself. The original Jungle Book did have a sequel. In fact, the original book is actually a collection of different stories all in the same universe. And Marvel thought it was being so ambitious. Honestly, in the right hands, you could have a number of Jungle Book movies, at least 3 in my opinion. Only then do I think you could pull it off. For example, one of my absolute favorite stories from the Jungle Book is Rikki Tikki Tavi, the story about a mongoose who is adopted by a family and then goes on to protect them from deadly cobras. I love that story, and I especially love the Chuck Jones adaptation. If you haven't seen it yet, you should find it if you can. It's really good. This also isn't in the same area as stuff like The Little Mermaid or Mulan or something where happily ever after is the ideal ending. Again, the story doesn't really have to end in the man village. There is this big world and you can do a lot with it, even if it is a children's Disney movie. So to see something with honestly a lot of potential just decide to tread all over the same stuff that we saw in the first movie is just honestly really disappointing. And look, I get it, it's Disney. They're not gonna follow the book to a T, if at all, but at the very least take inspiration from it, like the live action remake did. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Jungle Book live action remake actually is a decent remake. I'm not even kidding. It's the only decent one I've seen so far. That's all I have to say, I'm not reviewing it, okay? It's a decent remake, that's all there's to say. That's all there's to say, moving on. Why not bring Rikki Tikki into the story in some way? It can be a completely fictional version, but it still would have been really cool. But no, instead, we'll just sing Bare Necessities again 3 freaking times! Honestly, that song was never even that good to begin with. It's not bad. It's not a bad song, guys. It's just a little overrated, in my opinion, okay? It's a decent song, it's okay. It's just not my favorite song from the movie. No. That honor goes to I Wanna Be Like You. That song is such a fucking jam. It is so fun to listen to. When Baloo and King Louie just come together and start scatting like that, it's just too enjoyable to resist. Also, they say Chewbacca's name in the song, and I'm surprised more people haven't noticed it yet. Speaking of this song, did you guys know that Smash Mouth actually did a cover of that song for this movie? Yeah, freaking Smash Mouth. It's honestly fucking embarrassing. There's a lot of these really obnoxious edits in the song with these random lines from the movie just thrown in there for no reason at all. It is just so bad.
Check this out.
This place is happening.
Can you hear it?
Oh yeah.
As for the rest of the songs in this movie, it's mainly just repeating the bare necessities over and over again. But don't worry, there are original songs in this movie. 2 of them. I mean, sure, one of them gets reprised later in the movie. Twice. So if you count those 2 reprisals, then I guess that makes 4 songs, but I don't. The jungle rhythm is okay, it's got a catchy beat, and it is nice to see Mowgli actually have an impact on the main village, for better or for worse, but I'll go more into that later. Wild, on the other hand, is pretty boring. It's the most standard, bland jazz sound I've ever heard. Also, quick question, didn't King Louie's temple completely collapse in the last movie? We gotta talk about that, any? It's not another temple. They say specifically it is King Louie's temple. I mean, maybe they rebuilt it in between movies, but I don't think a lot of time has passed since the first movie, and plus they're fucking monkeys, so I doubt it. Speaking of King Louie, did you guys know that the only reason he's not in this movie is because of a legal dispute? Yeah, I'm not kidding. So I couldn't find out any of the specific details about it, but basically he was supposed to be in the movie, but Gia Prima, the widow to the original voice actor for King Louie, Louie Prima, didn't want it to happen for some reason. I don't know why. Again, I couldn't figure anything out. I'm not sure exactly what her problem is. I think that maybe she just didn't really want someone else to play her husband's role. But like I said, I couldn't figure anything out, so this is all just speculation. It's honestly such a shame because I really did like King Louie in the original, and it's not like the movie bastardized any of these characters, unlike other sequels. Mowgli is still just a kid who simply wants to stay in the jungle with his friends. Baloo is still just a laid-back music lover, although I think they went a little overboard with all of the 60s and 70s slang he uses. Yeah, I don't remember him using this much slang in the original movie, but to be fair, it's not like it really ruins his character. Bagheera is pretty much the same, the elephants are the same, Kaa is the same, it's all pretty much the same. Shere Khan easily remains the best character out of all of these movies, okay? With his confidence and wit, and the way he just struts through the fucking place like he owns it, it's just awesome. All around awesome. Easily the best scene in the entire movie is when he grabs the new vulture by the neck and supposedly kills him. I say supposedly because he doesn't. For no good reason. I guess this was to keep a G rating, but come on, just give me this. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Phil Collins vulture now. Yeah, so for some reason, the movie thought it'd be a good idea to introduce a new vulture in the group named Lucky, voiced by Phil Collins of all people. Why would you do this? The vultures add nothing to the movie, nothing at all. The only reason they're here is so that Lucky can accidentally tell Shere Khan where Mowgli is because he just happens to know where he is, despite the fact that the vultures never even interact with him throughout the entire thing. Yeah, so much for being his friend. Also, weren't the vultures supposed to be the Beatles? To the point where they were originally going to be voiced by the Beatles, but then they canceled at the last minute? So now by adding Phil Collins to the group, you've basically gone and fucked that concept. Yeah, thanks movie, I hate it. At least name the new guy Stu or something, not fucking Lucky. Jesus, this shouldn't be that hard. Really, the main issue with this movie is that it cares a lot more about simply bringing up stuff from the first movie rather than creating new stuff. I mean, it's not like no effort was put into the movie. The animation is very pretty and well done. As I said earlier, I don't have any trouble believing that these characters are these characters, unlike other movies. And plus, you have a top-notch voice cast. You got Sora from Kingdom Hearts playing as Mowgli. You got Sully and Pacha as Baloo. You got freaking Frollo voicing your villain. Dude, that's just ideal casting. Jim Cummings plays multiple characters in this movie, and he's just, oh my god, he's just amazing as always. Oh man, every time I hear his voice, I'm just instantly happy.
Hey, Baloo! Oh, good to see you back again, man.
You also have Katara voicing Shanti. I did not know that. Seriously, I saw this movie as a kid, yet I had no idea that these two characters had the same voice actor. Like, that's crazy, right? And then you have...
Ah! You stay away from Mowgli, you mean old tiger!
Ugh. Ranjan. Ranjan? I don't fucking care. This kid sucks. This kid fucking sucks. He's awful. And do you wanna know why he's fucking awful?
Tigers go wherever they want! Roar! Come on, Mowgli, wake up, it's morning! Back me! Roger? Mowgli's in trouble, and we're gonna find him! Mowgli! Roger, wait! Roger!
Shere Khan!
You like that loud, obnoxious voice of his? Do you like hearing your main character scream every single line he's got? Well, I hope so, because it never fucking stops. Every time he's on screen, it's just Mowgli this and that, and oh my god, it's fucking insufferable. Somebody needs to tell these people that if you're gonna have a kid character, then maybe, just maybe, you don't have them scream every fucking line of dialogue they have. God, it hurts. It literally hurts. The other human characters are fine, I guess, but there really isn't that much to them. They don't even have actual names. Seriously, in the credits, the father is literally just listed as Ranjan's father. Yeah, as if he fucking matters. They simply serve as just to be the parental figures and nothing more. And again, I feel like these people are seriously missed opportunities. I actually wanted to see more of Mowgli's interactions with the man village. You know, stuff we haven't seen yet. There are brief scenes here and there where they do try to show us this, like in the opening where Mowgli's new father is actually being patient with Mowgli and is trying to make him feel welcome in his home, which I liked. I thought that was an actually nice scene. Too bad it's the only good one we get. The rest of them just feel rather forced and seriously underdeveloped. I just wish that we got more from the man village than what we get in this movie. From the stuff we do see, it's just Mowgli acting like a normal kid, and frankly, for someone who's never interacted with other humans before, that is very strange. I just think that Mowgli should be a hell of a lot more awkward and uncomfortable. He's in a setting he's never experienced. He's a complete and total stranger to everything around him. Concepts like washing clothes, making spears, farming and stuff, that should have been explored a lot more in this movie. How about this for an opening instead? Pick up immediately where the last movie left off, where Mowgli walks into the man village and he sees other humans doing really weird stuff. Ranjan's father sees this and is understandably confused about this. Kind of like a parallel to the first movie, have there be a meeting with all of the adults to discuss what to do with Mowgli. Of course, in the end, they decide to accept him, and Ranjan's father decides to adopt him. You could have even made this into a song if you want, with the new father showing Mowgli around the village. It would have been a really cool way to introduce all this stuff to him, you know, by showing rather than telling. But no, let's just have all of the problems of the man village be told to us through the dialogue instead.
Is that place always like that?
You don't know the half of it. That village was terrible. All you ever hear is rules, 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 and work, work, work.
Whoa, kid.
That never happened! Again, I just feel like all of this stuff was seriously underdeveloped when it didn't have to be. The potential was there, they just didn't seek it. They just wanted to do a bunch of callbacks to a movie that I can always just rewatch if I want to. Nothing is stopping me from going back and rewatching the original film. I do not need another film to tell me to go back and rewatch the original film, because I will do so if I please. And because of all of this retreading, in the end, when Mowgli finally accepts his new father, it doesn't feel earned at all. It's just really disappointing. If you guys haven't seen it yet, then you should probably go watch the Jungle Book movie on Netflix called Mowgli, directed by Andy Serkis of all people. It's a really good adaptation, and it doesn't shy away from the source material at all. It gave me exactly what I wanted from what I just described. So overall, The Jungle Book 2 isn't inherently a bad movie or even a bad idea, it just is a bad movie. When I rewatched this movie for the first time in years, I couldn't stop thinking about all of the ways that this movie could have been something really cool for a direct-to-video Disney sequel that actually isn't a direct-to-video Disney sequel. They released this in theaters, man. So forgive me if I'm being a touch harsh on a movie that's honestly pretty harmless, but yeah, they released it in theaters, so I'm gonna be harsh about it. It's not like it's offensive or anything, it's just a complete waste of time and talent. All this great animation, great voice casting and stuff, just wasted on a script that only cares about, hey, remember this? I bet you do. Good times, huh? there is no real reason to really watch this one, mainly because it's just pointless. Nothing changes in the movie. None of the characters, not the setting, it all just ends in the same way as the first movie did. Mowgli goes back to the man village and that's that. I mean, honestly, what was I supposed to get out of this? What lesson was I supposed to take away from this journey? Well, I guess listening to parental figures is a message, but it's not like Mowgli actually suffers any consequences for his actions, so I doubt that's it. Overall, this movie is about as pointless as me trying to get my other channel, RaisorBlade Alive, monetized. Well, unless you guys want to, go watch it, subscribe, get those 4,000 hours of watch time that I desperately need. Maybe you could do that. As for the movie, it's at its best harmless, but at its worst, pointless. There is no reason to watch it. There are a bunch of worse direct-to-video Disney sequels out there, mainly because this one actually isn't a direct-to-video Disney sequel, but say what you want about those movies, I at least have a reason to watch them. So that's The Jungle Book 2, guys. Overall disappointing, but not, awful by any means, so take that for what it's worth. So hey, do you guys remember last year when I reviewed a movie about a little blue alien, and that video actually went on to become my most popular video of all time so far? Yeah, so that got me thinking, if I were to do another video about a little blue alien, then who knows how many views I get this time. So I was thinking about making a whole video about every Lilo and Stitch. Wait a minute. What's the sound? You guys hear that? It sounds familiar. Wait, that's not Lilo and Stitch. I know that sound. No, no, no!